The Indian stock market's Dalal Street was in the red again today and in deep. In the last week, the benchmark indices witnessed a sharp correction with the Nifty ending nearly 3% lower while the Sensex was down over 2,000 points. Among sectors, all the major sectoral indices registered profit booking at higher levels with the capital market and IT indices correcting sharply. Today, the Nifty 50 was down by 400 points and the Sensex dropped around 1,400 points. The major drop was seen in mid and small cap IT and telecom stocks. There are many reasons for the market plunge, we should tell you. The most important one is, in case you haven't already guessed it, Trump's tariff threats. The US dollar is maintaining its position near multi-week peaks against major currencies. The dollar index reached 107.35 on Friday against 6 major currencies. I want to bring in India Today's Siddharth Zarabi, managing editor with Business Today. Siddharth, this bloodbath on Dalal Street, Sensex tanking by nearly 1,400 points. What has prompted this selling spree?
Well, that's right. The bloodbath on our markets continues. And in fact, India's benchmark stock indices recorded their worst day in around 5 months, a Black Friday of sorts. And this, in fact, has been the longest losing streak for the Nifty 50 since 1996. So very clearly, market pessimism, the lack of confidence amongst investors is now feeding into these massive cuts that we have seen. If you look at in terms of mid-cap and small caps, it's very clear that those shares and stocks are in bear market territory. Now, why is this happening? And if we take a longer 5-month view, it's a mix of factors. It really started in some ways with the pullout by foreign institutional investors. And now the Trump tariff wars that he seems to be unveiling every other day are now feeding into nervousness around what will happen as far as global trade is concerned. But it's not just global factors. There are fears of further impact as far as companies are concerned, their earnings. We now have a situation where India and the European Union or the United Kingdom are in serious conversations for doing free trade pacts, and that in some ways there is also a fear could feed into pressure, further pressure on corporate earnings, because if goods are allowed in at lower import duties, there could be some impact. There's also the broader context of very high valuation. So some experts in the markets are saying that sanity is coming back to certain stocks and sectors where valuations had run completely out of sync with fundamentals. But the last bit of good news from the macro front, and we'll have to wait and watch for how the markets react to this, is that third quarter GDP numbers for India's economy suggest a revival. The latest number coming in at slightly better than expected reading, but it's very clear that as far as India is concerned, this 6.2% data that we saw for the October-December quarter seems to suggest that the economy is coming back, and rural consumption along with government spending, which had slowed due to the election and in its aftermath, is now back feeding into our growth prospects.
Siddharth, thanks very much for that very comprehensive view to this bloodbath on Dalal Street. We'll keep a very close watch. Track Business Today for live updates 24/7 on everything that's happening on our capital markets. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is in Washington to meet the US President Donald Trump. Apart from the Ukraine-Russia war, Zelenskyy and Trump will discuss a possible mineral deal. Reports also suggest that Zelenskyy will propose Ukraine's membership in the NATO, a very touchy topic, which Trump has already aggressively ruled out. Remember, before Zelenskyy's visit, Trump had backtracked on his recent sharp criticism of Zelenskyy, where he'd called him a dictator.
Every city is being demolished. They looked like a demolition site, every single one of them. And the only thing he was really good at was playing Joe Biden like a fiddle. He played him like a fiddle. That's an expression we use, Yasser, to say that he's pretty easy. A dictator without elections. Zelenskyy better move fast or he's not going to have a country left. Got to move fast because that war is going in the wrong direction. In the meantime, we're successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something I'll admit that only Trump is going to be able to do in the Trump administration. We're going to be able to do it.
Mr. President, do you still think that Mr. Zelenskyy is a dictator?
Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
Shashank Mattu is with me live from our India Today global team. Shashank, Trump seems to have backtracked a little bit on the dictator, jibe at Zelenskyy. So all eyes on Washington today. There's going to be as much attention paid to what is said and what is unsaid, and also the body language.
You're absolutely right. In fact, Trump has made a real bold face in terms of the rhetoric. He's now said that Zelenskyy is actually very brave, and he anticipates having a very, very good meeting with Zelenskyy today. Really, the key drivers of this change are twofold. Number one is this impending minerals agreement between the United States and Ukraine that could mean that US companies could win very valuable contracts in Ukraine to develop that country's natural resources. Also, we've seen very high-profile visits by European leaders, including the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, as well as the French President Emmanuel Macron, to sort of impress upon Trump that they need him to be on board with their strategy to end the Ukraine war. And those two things may have contributed to this change in tone. But you're absolutely right. The body language between the two leaders, Zelenskyy and Trump, will tell us a lot about where this relationship between these two men is going to go.
World Today at 10:30 p.m. is around the time all of that stuff will be emerging in Washington. Shashank and his team will be looking at that very closely and bringing us live coverage. Look out for that. Thanks, Shashank, for that input. And finally, my dear viewer, today is a little different, a little special, and just a little bit emotional for me. After 18 incredible years at India Today, this is my final broadcast here. I was 26 years old when I joined this amazing network. As I bid farewell today, I'm 44 years old. It has been the honor of a lifetime to bring you the news every day, whether from a bustling newsroom, the front lines of a breaking story, battlefields around the world, or deep inside the corridors of power. To you, my viewer, those who've cheered, challenged, and occasionally yelled at me through your TV screens, thank you. You've been my greatest allies and my most brutal reality check. To my critics, a special thank you. Without you, my thick skin wouldn't be nearly as battle-hardened. You are the heartbeat of everything I do. Your unwavering engagement, your sharp questions, and your constant demand for truth have hopefully made me a better journalist every single day. To my incredible colleagues and team who've tolerated my newsroom rants, bad jokes, and my insatiable love for telling stories, you truly are the real heroes. You've been my family, my co-conspirators, and in some cases, my unofficial therapists. To everyone behind the scenes that makes this magic happen in TV news, this is as much your show as it is mine. In fact, more so. I'm the one facing the camera, but as I always say, it takes an incredible backroom force for me to be able to stand here and anchor, to report, and now to say goodbye. But this is not really a goodbye. It's just a turning of the page. You know me, I don't stay away from the action for long. So don't get too comfortable. I'll be back before you can say exclusive breaking news. Until then, stay sharp, stay curious. The journey continues, and I will see you very soon. Jai Hind, and thank you.